So the collegiate kind of sports team memorabilia design style is not really anything new. I mean, we've seen this for decades. Sports teams have been doing this forever. One of the best recent examples has been Abercrombie, with them highlighting basically all of the NFL teams, with each one of them getting a custom collegiate designed t-shirt. Recently, we got the opportunity to design something for the co-working space that we use here in the US. Through getting to know some of the managers and employees here, we've developed a pretty good relationship and friendship with them, and we ended up overhearing that they needed a t-shirt design for an upcoming event, which obviously made our ears perk up a little bit, and we just volunteered ourselves, well, Drew volunteered me, to do it. Hey, we'll do this design for you for free so we can make a video about it. You get the shirt, in turn we get to make the video, and everyone is happy. So I'm gonna show you two things in this video.
Two.
One, how I actually made this t-shirt design for the loading dock, break it apart, some of the fonts I use, little bits and pieces. And then second, I'm gonna show you some good templates and features that you can use to help achieve this design style if you don't wanna start from scratch like I did. So let's check it out. So here I've got two art boards. This is the finished, quote unquote, finished design, and then that design mocked up on a t-shirt. I believe this is just an LA Apparel blank from a resource pack that I have, just so that we can kind of see it mocked up on a slightly textured garment dyed t-shirt. Now, if we zoom in and we start breaking this apart a little bit, some of these lines of texts are still editable and some of them are not. So all of these serif fonts are actually not editable anymore because they have been, well, changed a lot. So they started off as, it looks like black text with a gold outline, and then downloaded as a PNG, re-imported, vectorized, add a white outline to it, download it as a PNG, re-import it, vectorize it again, and add a gold outline to it, which seems convoluted, but you know, you do that a couple of times and you end up with this actually really cool kind of collegiate text lettering effect. So essentially I had a reference of what I was going for. I wanted to achieve this text effect and didn't want to just say, well, we can't do that natively. That's just not really a good excuse. So I found a way to do it, which was through, you know, exporting, re-importing, vectorizing, adding outlines, and doing all of this stuff. I was able to achieve a similar effect. Similarly, down here, this one, I actually don't know why this one is converted to outlines, because it's just the text in an outline, so it could have technically stayed as editable text. But this one down here, the 2025, has a similar effect to up here. It is actually the inverse, I think. No? It's got 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. The 2025 has 5 layers versus this having 3. So honestly, I don't know if that was intentional or not, or if I just did that. I don't know. But it ended up looking good, so no complaints here. And then these script text boxes are editable. These are just Kittl script, and they have a distort function on them so that they're kind of like squished, because I liked the look of Kittl script, but I wanted it to be slightly shorter. But the good thing about the distortion transformation is that what it is going to achieve is occupying the text within this space. So if I come in here and I type Barrel Road, it's actually going to confine it to the same space, which is super helpful because it's longer than Wake Forest. So if it made more space, then I'd have to make it smaller, or I'd have to stretch it a different way, and then it wouldn't look the same essentially. So I actually prefer the way that the distort text transformation basically says, here's your box, define what your box is, and then we're gonna take your line of text and then shape it into that box so that it fits. Very, very helpful. Then we have like an acorn multiple color illustration here that I found by going to the elements panel and literally typing in acorn, because the loading dock is mainly here in North Carolina and in Raleigh, and like their thing is like oak trees because we're the city of oaks. And so they have an acorn as their logo. And so I was thinking, well, I don't want to do just something with like the standard corporate looking logo, because this is a very like stylized collegiate thing. So I found imagery that, you know, nods to the Acorn logo, but also allows us to make something a little bit more kind of classy and sports memorabilia looking. Also, as you can see, I've got a slight texture on here, which it's good to talk about this because this is the texture that we used on the first pass of the shirt when we got basically a sample of it, direct to garment printing. But the issue was that the DTG didn't really show this semi-opaque texture very well. It basically just looked solid. And so we kind of found that you either needed to do like punch through all the way or not at all, because you can't really have like this semi-opaque texture, and it just didn't come out well. And so we needed the texture, and this is what we were going for. So basically we're gonna have to try something different. Now in these videos where you see the finished product, you'll probably notice that there's actually an arch to this whole design. I achieved this by just exporting the whole design as an SVG, importing it into Photoshop, and then using a distort arch transformation to get that nice kind of collegiate arch. And then the text down there at the bottom, you can tell where it says members only, we decided to keep straight. And the cool thing with being able to change this text up here with the Wake Forest is that there are actually 4 different loading dock locations. So I was able to just click in, type the location name, and then they had all 4 designs ready to go, ready to print. So we had the designs, and now we needed a way to print them. Well, thanks to Printify, we were able to do our sample orders to make sure that we got the sample in, that we liked it before we ordered a bunch.
I think it's so cool. Especially once, it just seems like a vintage game day type shirt that people wouldn't expect from us. But I think it's cool that we're doing it as like a limited drop. I think it's awesome.
Then we used the bulk order feature to get all of the sizes that we need for each individual location. And I am glad to say that they were a massive success. All of the members at the different locations absolutely loved them. They said that it was so different from anything that they had done before. So thank you, Kittl, and thank you, Printify. Now let's look at some of those templates that I was referencing before. Obviously, you don't have to use templates if you want to start from scratch, if you want to be ambitious, if you want to create something truly custom. You totally have the ability to just open up a blank canvas and just go at it. Get yourself a nice reference and then design something completely from scratch. Something that I think is always helpful is dragging a couple of different templates into my canvas just to reference, to pull different bits and pieces, different elements from, to help either get me going, spark inspiration, or actually use as part of my design. You can see, for example, that this nice laurel wreath element is used in this design, but it is also used in this design here. So that's something where I might be like, oh, I love that laurel wreath and I want to use that. So I drag the text in and then I just strip the element from the template and then I just put it into my design. Another thing that's super helpful about having these templates in your project is just to break apart font combinations. So in this one, we have English Town and Luxurious Script, which is actually great. I might ante up Kittl script for this as well. I think that that looks a little bit more royal. I would probably use that instead of Luxurious Script. This template might have been made at a time where we didn't have Kittl script yet. So they both look good. It's probably just down to personal preference at that point. And then with these templates, all you have to do is click in and add your text. And it is as simple as that. You can come in here and edit all of these different text transformations. This one is a circle. It's actually 2 different pieces, which they've inverted up and down. So this is 2 different circles of text, and then one of them is just inverted. I know that circle text is extremely difficult in some programs, but in here it's just as simple as 1 click. And then we've got a nice font down here. Let's check out what this is. It's Tricot, which is just a very nice, simple varsity font. Let's look at some of these other templates. We've got some really nice assets going on here. I think that I adjusted the colors of some of these just a little bit to make them feel a little bit more sports memorabilia-esque. But you can kind of see a trend in the types of fonts they use, the elements being like the laurel wreaths, maybe some stars, some scripts, and some collegiate fonts. They're just very heavy vector element designs. And another awesome thing that I could do is just add some textures to these. So you can scroll through and maybe get a nice grunge texture. And I, like I mentioned before, would recommend something that you can tell actually punches all the way through to the layer below. So I've got this texture masked so that it only affects the design and not the background. So we can make sure that that's selected, and now only your design is selected. Another helpful thing is that you don't even have to export the whole artboard. Let's say if I group this entire design, I can just export this selection as a PNG or SVG or whatever I need. Just make sure you size up. You don't always have to, but I usually don't take the time to check what pixel count I'm looking in, so I'm using at least a 2 times size for a PNG export, especially if it's being used for print. And then boom, you just export your design and you're good to go. These designs are super easy to get started with, and you can find more. This is not definitely the exhausted extent of what we have templates wise. You could come in here, like look, I've got one bookmark here that I've not even shown in this project. But you could type in college, not college life. I don't know why that autofilled.
Stop doing that.
You could type in college, and then we've already got a lot of designs popping up here. Just be specific with your keywords and you absolutely will find something that you like or is a great starting point. A special thanks again to both the loading dock for giving us an opportunity to showcase a little bit of Kittl's skill here, and also massive thank you to Printify for giving us the ability to have our design come to life. Drop a comment down below and let us know what you think of the finished design. While you're there, make sure to also like this video and subscribe to the Kittl YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any feature updates, Kittl hacks, or design style videos. If there's anything Kittl specific that you should know about, it gets highlighted here on the channel. So if we release a feature and you don't find out about it for 6 months, it's probably because you're not subscribed to the Kittl YouTube channel. Don't be caught left behind. Thank you guys so much again for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.